Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDO44 coming at you another video. I know I need to get in the shower, change this shirt. I know that. But I have some very um, poignant thing to say. I guess things to say in regards to uh, context, y'all. Context and understanding what people are trying to say. Um, and from a point of view, they're trying to say the things of that nature. Context. We got to seek that. We got to understand that. And two, when people are speaking to us, particularly people who are not wordsmiths, who are not word professionals, um, we need not hang on every literary word that they say. At the end of the day, that's what I'm trying to say to you. Hanging on every literary word that a person says is not going to lead you in the right direction sometimes, because sometimes people speak out of ignorance in regards to certain words. They don't know exactly what their words mean, but that's what came to their head in the moment, and that's what came out of their mouths. Human error. I'm guilty of that on many occasions on this camera, unfortunately. But at the same time, because I understand how that can go. Didn't intend to use that word. If you hang on the word that I used improperly, you're going to get the wrong meaning, and you're going to judge me or what have you from that, and it would just be mistaken, misunderstanding. And that's why it's so important we look for things like context. That's why it's so important we leave room for literary mistakes. And I think when I'm watching artists, and I say this because I referred to them as artists yesterday, Stephen A. Smith and some of these guys on camera, Skip Bayless, people like that, who are literary artists, who are experts that use, words very precisely to not only paint pictures, but to also express feelings from within themselves in such a way that comes to life on this camera. It's an art form, etc. I think that they tend to think others use to use words and are as literal as they are, and are as precise and thoughtful with words as they are. I'm learning of the importance of using words and being precise and making sure you're accurate. And I didn't always have that in mind as a person growing up. Tend to use words flippantly, tend not to think about the spirit of words and how they can manifest certain things and bring certain types of energy my way and certain types of consequences my way from saying certain things in a certain way, in a certain tone, and things of that nature. I'm growing in that way. Didn't always have it. You see what I'm saying? And if you would have taken some of the things that I said in the past, flip it, maybe some things I would have said when I was drunk, you know what I'm saying? You would you would have a painting and an understanding of who I am that just isn't representative of who I am. And that is a mistake, especially when you're trying to be accurate in what it is that you're depicting. Now, if your intention is to not be accurate and paint a certain picture and deceive the public, then that's disingenuous, and we know that such a thing exists a lot of times. But if you are trying to be accurate, and if you are trying to understand the subject from which you are speaking about, you got to know that sometimes you're hanging on every word that they say may not be the right way to go. You may want to listen to every other word and then derive from what it is that they're saying based on that. It can be difficult. It can be confusing. You may have to ask a couple extra questions to try to figure things out. But don't just assume that because you've heard each and every word, that each and every word represents what it actually means when they speak. Because guys just misspeak. English is a language we all speak, but we speak it differently. From different regions, different things mean different things. And, sometimes when you're a literary expert, it's almost like you don't allow yourself to dumb down and leave room for that. And while that may be something that you have wrapped up in who you are and in your pride as a person, what you also ultimately want to be is understanding. You want to understand what it is you're listening to. You know what I mean? You want to know what it is that the other person is saying to you. And they're not necessarily speaking the way that you are used to, for whatever reason, whether it is because they're speaking in big words or because they're speaking in some slang that you don't speak. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're smarter than them. It doesn't necessarily mean they're smarter than you. It just means that somewhere along the lines, you guys got to figure out how to communicate and how to understand one another, so that you can be clear on what it is that you're talking about when referring to one another. And that's where I'm coming from. I just see a lot of those mistakes made on TV, you know, and it's just a cultural thing sometimes. You know, a guy will say a certain word and then they'll take it for what it is they think it means, and it's like, nah, he's using a slang term for it, and now they are talking an entirely different conversation than what's necessary. You see them do it all the time, and it's like, I know, I know you didn't grow up in these areas, so you don't know what these dudes are saying, but for those of us who knows what they're saying, we know you're wasting your time talking for like 5 minutes for no reason. And you know, I don't see it as much now, but I did see it a lot when I was growing up, you know. So yeah, I saw a little bit of that today in regards to a couple segments this morning where I felt like they were hanging on certain words that were said in Kyrie's IG last night. Excuse me. And I just don't think they interpreted what he was saying exactly the way that I interpreted it, and the way the audience in the comments were interpreting it as well. So I figured, you know, maybe I was on to understanding what he was saying in that way, because others did too, you know, maybe. But at the end of the day, we all perceive things a certain way, and if someone isn't precise, they'll have to live with the understanding that people may not understand where you're coming from. So hopefully we can find some sweet medium, man. I've never been a fan of people who try to point out every time someone spells something wrong or says a certain word wrong or what have you. You know, it's okay to correct people, but in how you do it, you know, that's my thing. So yeah, man, that's what I wanted to say. Seek context. Not everybody's a wordsmith. I'm not, even though I'm good with words, I got a long way to go. So if I misspeak, which will happen, charge it to that, and understand that I'm going to try. If I think I've misspoken, listen for me to do this. If I think I've misspoken in the moment, I will immediately try to tell you what I meant directly after misspeaking. So listen for that, because when listening to myself, I notice I do that. I'll be like, man, I misspoke. But if they kept listening, they'll see that I tripped. I knew that, and I tried to fix that. So that's something I think I'm getting better at too. So yeah, it is what it is, man. We all grow in our own way. There's power in words. Manifest what you want with those words, and don't bring to you what you don't with those words. That's what I got. My name is BDL44. Thank you for watching. I'm out.